Okay, so good afternoon everyone. What about your exam? It is good, na? Okay, Srijata? Okay, very good. Okay. So, you can see that I have written the heading of the chapter. So, only two chapters are left, right, from the ecology part. So, the Snigdha ma'am has started another chapter, and after that, only the last chapter, chapter number 15, biodiversity and conservation, is in your syllabus, right? So, today I will start with the last chapter, that is biodiversity and conservation. If we finish this chapter, our syllabus will be completed. So, you can check it. This is the chapter number 15, biodiversity and conservation. So, as I have written the name of the chapter, so first you have to know biodiversity. Do you know the meaning of biodiversity? Because already you have read about this term many times in the class 10, in the book of SST, that means in the geography part and in the science part. Can you remember what is the meaning of this biodiversity? Anyone? Anyone want to try? Organism in an area. Okay, it is you are saying that bio means, what is the meaning of bio? Living. Very good. So bio means living. With the bio term I am using another term or adding another term, diversity. Okay, so diversity means that different type of organism, and here we have used the term biodiversity. That means different types of different species, different living species that can be found in a particular area. This can be considered as biodiversity. Okay, so under this biodiversity chapter we have to know about some new topics. Okay, so first let me discuss about some types of diversity. Okay, so where we are living in a biosphere. So in our biosphere different type of organisms can be found. Okay, that means in our biosphere immense diversity exists. Okay, and that diversity doesn't exist not only in the species level but also at the levels of biological organization ranging from macromolecules within the cells to biomass. Okay, so I have mentioned that different type of diversity can be found. So what are the different types of diversity? So our sociologist and person who was a sociologist whose name was Edward Wilson. Edward Wilson. He was a sociologist. Okay, so this biodiversity is the term popularized by this sociologist Edward Wilson. Okay, this term was popularized by this sociologist, by the sociologist Edward Wilson. to describe the combined diversity at all the levels of biological organization. Okay, so what are those different types of different levels that in the biodiversity? So I will discuss one by one. So first one is genetic biodiversity. Second one is species biodiversity. And the third one is ecological. So here we can write it down, diversity only. Ecological diversity. Okay, so we have to know the meaning of these three. So first I will discuss about the genetic diversity. Okay, so as you can see, as all the humans will come under same species, we will come under the species Homo sapiens, right? And all the dogs, some dogs will come under the same species, some flowers, like that. Okay, some organisms under a species, different organisms can be found, but we are not alike. All the humans are not alike. So the diversity, the changes, the variations that can be found in a particular species also, that is considered as genetic diversity. Okay, that means that comes through our genes. As you know that in the organisms who are reproducing sexually, at the time of gamete formation, crossing over is taking place. At the time, at the meiosis type of cell division, and what happens, a variation can be seen. So all the humans are not alike due to these variations, and these can be considered, and the genes are not same for all. So the diversity that can be found at the for this genetic cause is considered as genetic diversity. Okay, now we will check what they have written. So under that genetic diversity, they have written that a single species might show high diversity at the genetic level or its distribution range. The genetic variation shown by the medicinal plant Rauwolfia vomitoria growing in different Himalayan range might be in terms of the potency and concentration of the active chemical reserpine that the plant produces. India has more than 50,000 genetically different strains of rice and 1,000 varieties of mango. So from these we got to know different type of examples. So in India we can find different types of rice, different strains of rice. Mangoes, we can consider it is Mangifera indica, but different near about 1,000 varieties of mangoes can be found. And another flower that can be found in the Himalayan ranges, name is Rauwolfia, and in this particular flower huge variation can be found, and all these comes under the genetic diversity. Clear? Next one is species diversity. So from this term you can understand that we have to discuss about the species level, right? So in a particular habitat or in a particular area, different species can be found. Like you can find giraffe, you can find lion, you can find deer. They will come under the different species, and they are living in a particular area, but their species is different. Species are different. Okay, so that is considered as species diversity. Okay, so the diversity at the specific level. Now if I want to explain this with an example, a very good example is that in the Western Ghats have a greater amphibian species diversity than the Eastern Ghats. You can think it like this also, that A particular species, Royal Bengal tiger, can be found in the Sundarban. Not the number of the Royal Bengal tigers in the Sundarban is quite high, and in the other places you can't find it that much of, right? Like this. Another example is that in the Western Ghats they are having the species of amphibians is quite high than the Eastern Ghats. Okay, so like this, in the different area, we can find the diversity of the different species. Okay, so as it is the specific level, so that it is coming under the species diversity. And the last one is ecological diversity. So ecological diversity means it will come under the ecosystem level. So you know the meaning of ecosystem. Ecosystem means that the living and non-living organisms and their interactions. Many living organisms, we are living at a place and we are interacting with some abiotic factors of this particular area, and a continuous interaction is going on. Okay, so that will come under the ecosystem. So at the ecological level, that means at ecosystem level, okay, it means that it will consider under the ecosystem level. So we can find different types of ecosystem like forest, grassland, like different types of ecosystem can be found, and in a particular ecosystem particular types of organisms can be found. In the particular plants, particular types of animals can be found, like in the desert they are having one type of plants, in the forest, in the grasslands they are having different types of organisms. Okay, their diversity is different. Like if we consider in India, we can find like India in the desert, in the rainy forest, the mangroves, coral reefs, wetlands, estuaries, alpine meadows. It has a greater ecosystem diversity than any other country like Norway. Okay, so in India we can find in those places different type of ecological or ecosystem. In this different ecosystem different diversity can be found. Okay, so this is the example of ecological diversity. So you can see that from the diversity can be classified like this, and we can understand from this that what are the meaning of these three terms. Okay, now as you know that it has taken millions of years of evolution to accumulate this rich diversity in the nature. A rich diversity will not come in a single day, it will take time. Okay, as you know that you have already read about the evolution, it takes huge time. So area that is rich in diversity, it has taken many years. Okay, but we could lose all that wealth in less than 2 centuries if the present rate of species loses to continue. Just it, as you know that everything needs proper care, time to construct, but we can destroy it very easily. So if we don't take care of this, then what will happen? Everything will be destroyed within 2 countries. Okay. Now biodiversity and its conservation are the now vital environmental issues of international concern. Why? Because we have to protect our environment, we have to protect the organisms of different areas. Okay, so that is why the name of the chapter is biodiversity and its conservation. Okay, we have to conserve them so that they will not so that we can get them in appropriate number. Okay, so it is now it is an international concern that more and more people around the world begin to realize the critical importance of biodiversity for our survival as well as survival of the planet. Okay, without them we will not be able to survive. Okay, so that is the main cause of the conservation. Okay, so and that is the basic idea of this chapter. So from this chapter we have to know about the different types of organisms that can be found different area, their number, and how we have to conserve them. Okay, up to this portion clear everyone? Up to this portion any doubt? Okay, now next part we will check the global biodiversity. Okay, that means proportionate number of species of major taxa of plants, invertebrates and vertebrates. Now, if we make a circle like that, so more than 70% of all species recorded are animals. Now 70%, it will be like that. So more than 70% of all species recorded are animals. So these are animals. More than 70% are animals, and while plants are near about 22%. 22% are plants. And what will come under this plants group? This includes algae, fungi, bryophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm. Okay, they will constitute the 20% of the total. Clear? And among these animals, insects are, now if we consider the only animals, okay, among in between the 70% animals, we will check that what are the different animals, what are the different percentages of different animals. Now first I have drawn like this. So about from these animals, among animals, insects are most species reach taxonomic group, making up more than 70% of the total. More than 70% is covered by insects. So insects will come under the animal group. So more than 70% are the insects. Okay, and that means if we consider that out of every 10 animals, if we consider that 10 animals, out of every 10 animals, 7 are insect. Right? 70% means like that. So among the out of every 10 animals on this planet, 7 are insect. Okay. Now what about the other species? Now if I consider the mollusk, they will take some part, and crustaceans, and rest of the part will be covered by the other animal groups. Okay. So these are the other animal groups, these are the mollusks, and these are the crustaceans. Okay, so that is the different numbers that can be found if we consider the total animal species or kingdom. Okay, total animal kingdom, among them 70% are insect and rest of the part is occupied by like this. Then huge number can be found mollusks, then crustacean, and rest of the part will be the other. Okay, it may be Orpita very less. We are not in that any group. We will come on the others part. Okay. So now next part is these are the mainly we are no here you can bring the human hair, because you can see that I have mentioned these only for invertebrates. Okay, so this pie chart or this chart is for invertebrates. Now if you consider the vertebrates, then most of the part, more than 50% is occupied by fishes. fishes. Okay, more than 50%. You can see that more than 50% is occupied by fishes, and others are like that. Mammals will come here. Okay, mammals will come here. Mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians. Mammals, birds, reptiles and amphibians. Okay, so this is for vertebrates. Previous one for, and as you know that in the animal kingdom we will find both vertebrates and invertebrates. So previous one for the invertebrates and this one is for vertebrates. Okay, so last part we have discussed about the not only plants, animals also. Sorry, not only animals, plants also. So we have seen the plants, animals. Now I will show you the plants. In case of plants, most of the part is occupied by fungi and angiosperms. It is like that. This is part is angiosperm, this part is fungi. Okay, so most of the part is occupied by fungi and angiosperm, and these are the mosses, and this part is for ferns. Okay, mosses and ferns, and these two parts are, this part is quite large, this part is for algae and this part is for lichen. Okay, so for the plants we can divide them like this. Now you will say that I have discussed about the plants and animals, all comes under the eukaryotes. But what about prokaryotes? Why they are not placed in these particular figures? Because that these estimates do not give any figure for prokaryotes. Biologists are not sure about how many prokaryotic species there might be. And the problem is that conventional taxonomic methods are not suitable for identifying microbial species. As you know that the number of the microbes are quite high and they are changing. That means different viruses and bacteria, like so. By this process, it is not suitable for identifying microbial species, and many species are simply not culturable under laboratory conditions. Okay, that is why we cannot do this type of thing with the prokaryotes. Okay, now if we accept biochemical or molecular criteria for the knowing the species, for detailing the species for this group, then their diversity alone might run into millions. Okay, if we use these two techniques, their diversity might run into millions. Okay, so you can find it out that how many species are there on earth and how many in India. Okay, so that is the overall idea about the different species that can be found. Okay, so according to the IUCN 2004, the total number of plant and animal species described so far is slightly more than 1.5 million. Okay, so according to the IUCN 2004, total plants and animal numbers of species described so far is slightly more than 1.5 million. Just imagine the number 1.5 million. But we have no clear idea of how many species are yet to be discovered and described. So many species are till now not discovered and described. Okay, and estimates vary widely, and many of them are only educated guesses. Okay, so for many taxonomic groups, species and more complete in temperate, and these species differentiation can be found in the in different areas, like in the temperate region and the tropical region, particularly those who are living in the tropics and those who are living in the temperate region, they are many changes can be found in the region, and the species richness is quite less in the polar region and it is quite more in the equator region. Why? We will discuss it in the next class. Okay, now so let me check one thing. Okay, so for today that's it. In my next class I will discuss about the next part. Okay, so clear? Any doubt? Anything you want to ask me?